Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. So doing the GWV Sunday Round-Up for today's third video. So as always on a Sunday, we've got your eclectic mix of this and that. We're going to be looking at solar activity, sea surface temperature anomalies. We'll also have a look at what's happening with ENSO, involved with the sea surface temperature anomaly section of the video, of course. Arctic oscillation, North Atlantic oscillation, and the weather for the next week to 10 days as well. So sit back and enjoy it on your Sunday afternoon. Just say that the summer analogues update has been released, a sixth summer analogues update. So that one is a solar special as well. We're looking at summers occurring around solar minimum, so that's quite an interesting watch. That video will be placed on the summer updates and forecast page with a written summary this evening, just going over everything that we talked about in the video. We've also launched a competition as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. That's why this Sunday Roundup is actually the third video for today, because the first video up was the video for the competition, telling you how to enter and what we're giving away. So I'll get on that for you very shortly. So I think that's about everything I'm going to tell you, actually. So we will get on with the Sunday Roundup right now. We're going to begin with the competition. So we're teamed up with metcheck.co.uk Weather Instrumentation to give away another spring prize for you. So it is the Climate CM9088 Temperature and Humidity Forecast Station. This will record indoor and outdoor temperature, humidity, pressure, sunrise, sunset, and moon phases. It retails at £50, but somebody will be winning this 1 week today, Easter Sunday. We're going to give this away to somebody. And the way that you enter this is very, very simple. You just email your name and local town or city to gawsworthies@gmail.com. You'll be entered into the prize draw, and as I say, somebody will be winning this in a week's time. You've got to be in it to win it, so get emailing and we'll put you into the prize draw. Everybody will get a response, say they've gone into the prize draw. It can sometimes take me a little while to get round to everybody. We have had an overwhelming response already to this competition. I will get through everybody's emails and reply to them to say they've been put into the competition, but just bear with me, it'll take me a little time to do it, but I will reply to everybody and let you know that you are in the prize draw. Big thank you to metcheck.co.uk for letting us give away this prize, teaming up with us. And yeah, so you've got to be in it to win it, so get emailing. And somebody will win the Climate, Temperature and Humidity Forecast Station in 1 week's time. Good luck to everyone. Right, we're going to start off with solar activity. So this is how things are looking on the solar disk on our side of this today from solarham.net. We've actually got quite a big sunspot appear just there, although Solarham is saying that solar activity is at very low levels and expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days. This is GWV Sunday Roundup Solar Activity Tracker, updated to today, 14th of April, by our good friend James Ackrill, and thanks James for sending this one through as ever. So we'll go for a little bit of a tick up in activity at the moment. Actually, we had quite a long run back through February into March of no activity, but you see these orange spikes, the way they're ticking up fairly frequently at the moment. That is each individual day's sunspots, and so we can see that we are going through a rather more extensive period of activity than we've had for a little while. Actually, it has lifted our trend lines up as well a bit. That's the thick green and the thick red lines just here. We're very close to solar minimum, but this tells us we haven't yet reached true solar minimum. So the solar minimum is probably still a little way off. I would say maybe around 6-9 months away before we reach true solar minimum. I will think it'll happen this year in 2019, but it could be it happens in 2020. You never know when you've reached true solar minimum until it's actually happened. So I think this is telling us these little upticks that we're getting quite regularly at the moment. I think this tells us that we are yet to reach true solar minimum, and we may be a little way off it actually. We may be around 6 months, maybe a bit more away from true solar minimum. Because when we get to it, we will go for a very extensive period of no sunspots. Or normally that's what would happen anyway. We're going to be doing Solar Sunday next Sunday. So the the analogues for the summer, they're rested next week. They'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. We're resting the summer updates next weekend, just for 1 week for Solar Sunday. So it'll be quite interesting. What are we talking about? Solar Cycle 24 and Solar Minimum, much more next week. Big thank you to James for sending that through to us. Right, this is how the sea surface temperature anomalies were looking last week when we did last week's Sunday Roundup. So we've got our 3 areas of interest, of course. We've got the ENSO region just here, including the Equatorial Pacific. We've got Northern Pacific up here, and then we've got the North Atlantic over there. So that's how the sea surface temperature anomalies were shaping up last week. Let's see how they're shaping up this week. So dealing with the ENSO region, first of all, this very latest from the 11th of April from NOAA. So dealing with the ENSO region, first of all, very little change there. We are unravelling that very weak El Nino that we have through the winter of 2018-2019. That's fading away, but the sea surface temperature anomalies are generally still a little bit above average, so probably still just about reaching ENSO threshold. But you see there's barely a signature for El Nino now. Where it went cold towards the coast of Mexico and Peru around here 2 or 3 weeks ago, it is now rapidly starting to warm back up again. So as suspected, that was not the beginning of a cold event. It's not the beginning of landing. It's probably just, that's very shallow water in towards the coast of Peru and Mexico. So that's probably just influenced by local weather conditions. They may have had some sort of deep area of low pressure or something that churned up the sea and produced those cold sea surface temperature anomalies just briefly. And now you see that it is rapidly warming up again over towards that Peruvian coast. The shallow waters around the coast, coastal areas will always respond very rapidly to weather changes, temperature changes. So it's always the deeper waters in the central oceans that are much more cyclical and change over much more longer periods of time. Further north in the Northern Pacific Ocean, again, very little change there. So that's how things looked last week. This is how things are looking this week. May have warmed up a little bit in the Northern Pacific Ocean, but again, very little change there. As far as the Atlantic is concerned, again, let's go back to last week, that situation. Last week, this situation. Now, so again, very little change, really. This northern part of the Atlantic Ocean remains generally a bit colder than average with the sea surface temperature anomalies. That's something that we've seen a lot over the past few years. So it remains pretty chilly up there to the south of Greenland. Going further southwards, it looks like the tropical Atlantic's cooling a little bit as well. So it was fairly warm through the tropical Atlantic a few weeks ago, but it looks like things are cooling down a little bit in the tropics at the moment. If that was to continue and to accelerate, and we had cool sea surface temperature anomalies through the tropical Atlantic through the summer into the autumn, then obviously that would negate the hurricane season a little bit. So you always get a bigger hurricane season when the sea surface temperature anomalies through the tropical Atlantic are warmer than average. So if it was to go cooler than average through the tropical Atlantic, that might dampen down the hurricane season a little bit for this year. But of course, it's early days on that idea anyway. So there are only a few little spots of cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies down there. So it's certainly not a big deviation from average. And even if it goes cooler than average, those tropical waters are still going to be very warm as well. Probably still warm enough to support hurricanes and tropical storms anyway. Southern Oscillation Index next. This is from part of the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here because there's a message on the website that says SY cannot be updated due to technical difficulties. We are closely monitoring the situation. But if you go down, you can actually see that, as usual, all of the SOI numbers have been added in. So I'm not sure what that message is related to, but I'm assuming this is all detailed and accurate. It certainly looks like it is. Doesn't look any different to normal. So going back to the beginning of April, we see that we went through a strongly positive phase of the SY. Remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state in the Southern Ocean. Not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells you what the atmosphere is doing in the Southern Pacific Ocean. When the SOI is positive, then the atmosphere is going to be reflective of a La Nina, of a cold event. When the SOI is negative, measuring the barometric pressures between Darwin and Tahiti, and when the SY comes out as a negative number, then you're basically, with the atmospheric pressures in the Southern Ocean, you are reflecting an El Nino, a warm event state. So, for example, on the 5th of April, very positive with the SY, 23.36. That's strongly reflecting within the atmosphere a La Nina, a cold event, and the same is true on the 6th of April. 8th of April goes to 24.37. So these are all very reflective of La Nina, of cold events, these numbers. But we go further up to more recent days, and the SY has started to go quite negative again. So the 11th of April coming out at minus 17.23. The 12th of April coming out at minus 23.80. The 13th of April coming out at minus 28.12. That's a very negative number indeed. And then the 14th of April at, and that's the very latest, of course, they're ahead of us down in Australia. So they've already had the 14th of April. So 14th of April coming out at minus 15.17. That's an atmospheric state that's reflective of an El Nino event. This is something that's quite typical of the time of the year, that you get fairly wild swings from La Nina to El Nino type states, and it's one of the reasons why all of the computer models struggle to work out where ENSO is going to go through the remainder of the year at this point of the year. It's called the spring predictability barrier. And it just means that at the moment we're coming out of the El Nino we have through the winter, but it's still holding on. The El Nino is still holding on, and we haven't gone into a La Nina phase either. So we're just swinging through phases within the SOI at the moment, and eventually we will latch on to the next place that we go to with ENSO. Either be a strengthening of El Nino, it might go to a cold event La Nina through the summer, or it might just stay at weak El Nino. We'll go back to ENSO neutral. So we're at the spring predictability barrier, and those swings that we see there over quite a few days, so not over a big time period, just over a week or so, wild swings from strongly reflective of La Nina to strongly reflective of El Nino. That's the kind of thing that is typical of at the time of the year. This is how Eurasian snow cover is looking. So we've still got pretty decent snow cover actually up over much of Scandinavia. The south of Sweden, we're snow free there now, but going further north up towards the Arctic Circle, definitely a lot of snow cover there. It looks like we're beginning to pull the snow line back from the west of Russia, though. So you can see now we are snow-free in the west of Russia. Most of central Russia and Siberia, though, still well and truly snow covered. Of course, over the next few weeks, all of that snow is going to go. So by the time we get through to June, July, we will see that the whole of Eurasia, away from mountainous areas anyway, the whole of Eurasia will become snow-free. And at the same time, a lot of this yellow will disappear as the Arctic sea ice melt season gets going. So we'll see what happens with that. We've had some pretty big melt seasons over the past few years up in the Arctic, but we'll keep a close eye on that over the next few weeks and months as it accelerates, of course, into the summer. Arctic oscillation observed and forecast chart is looking like this. So the black line shows where we've been with the Arctic oscillation. The red line's at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. Remember, just as with the SOI, this is only an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. This time, instead of looking at the Southern Ocean, we're looking at the Arctic at the North Pole. When the Arctic oscillation is positive, you have low pressure up over the pole. You will typically strengthen the zone of westerly flow. When the Arctic oscillation is negative, you have high pressure blocking up over the pole. So we went through a positive period of the Arctic oscillation from early February through to the beginning or the start of April. Then through the first week of April went really quite negative, a plunge in the Arctic oscillation. It's come back up towards neutral. That's where we are right now, around neutral. GFS ensembles for the next week are forecasting us to stay close to neutral. As we go towards the end of April, it does look as though the Arctic oscillation then could start to move into a more positive phase once again. There is a little bit of scatter, and that's extended range stuff within the GFS ensembles. But I think the trend, probably as we go towards the end of April, is to move the Arctic oscillation back into a more positive phase. So low pressure coming back over pole, losing the blocking signal. Of course, we've got these cold easterly winds at the moment, courtesy of the Scandinavian high. That will probably ease or become sort of a mid-latitude type ridge, maybe sitting over Central Europe as we go into the final week or so of April. And we may strengthen the zone of westerly flow once again as well. Let's have a look at the NAO. So again, black line shows where we've been with the NAO. Red line's at the end where GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. Really a prolonged, very prolonged positive phase of the NAO that we've been through, going right way back to the autumn of last year. Although at the moment we are negative with the NAO. So just as the AO shifted in early April, so too did the NAO. Both of them going into negative territory. It's one of the reasons we're pulling in these cold easterly winds at the moment and having these rather annoying, damaging night frosts. That's where we are. We are negative with the NAO right now. The trend is upwards though in the GFS ensembles, back into positive territory within the next week or so. And then beyond that, probably hovering on the positive side of neutral as we go towards the end of April. There are a few members of the GFS ensembles that are going negative again with the NAO, but generally I think the trend is to be on the positive side. So it actually looks as though as we get towards the end of April, we're going to have both indexes, the AO and the NAO, going positive. That's probably a signal for the high pressure, the blocking high that we've got at the moment, giving us these cold easterly winds to go away, or maybe collapsing towards more of a mid-latitude type ridge. It's probably an indication that the Azores high is going to strengthen as well. Not necessarily an unsettled signal. We may well strengthen the westerly flow, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be unsettled. If we're under a big ridge of high pressure from the Azores, then actually being very mild, even warm at this time of the year, and pretty dry too. Does look as though we're going to lose the blocking signal that we've had over the past few days though. Right, let's do some forecasting. We're going to have a look at the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next. We're looking at London for this Sunday roundup. So we're still cold at the moment. Look at that. We're below the red line. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We are cold at the moment, and as I say, it's the reason we've got these cold easterly winds and with the Scandinavian high. And they've introduced cold air from the northeast, so the sun's got a lot of power to it. It's not too bad by day, but by night when the sun sets, the temperature rapidly falls and we're getting these very annoying damaging night frost. But from around tonight onwards, the frost risk will diminish. By the time we get through to around Tuesday, Wednesday, we're back milder than average again, and then the GFS looks set to send us into a prolonged spell of warmer than average temperatures. Look at that, very strongly now showing above average temperatures, really starting from around sort of Tuesday onwards, just there, and just going through towards month's end. That's the end of April, just there, and it is very strongly showing above average temperatures. So clearly we have got a very strong trend there. Temperatures to be above average in terms of the upper air temperatures, and it looks very dry as well. This is for London, so it's one of the drier places in the country, but barely any precipitation spikes really. Certainly only a few of them, handful of them, and not with much conviction. So I suppose there will be showers around, but I mean, that does look very, very dry for the remainder of April down in the southeastern corner, and warm as well. So seemingly we're going to go into a prolonged spell of warmer and drier than average weather. Sort of classic sort of late spring or even early summer type conditions coming up perhaps. Temperature anomalies, I said, but once we got this weekend out of the way, we'll probably see these temperature anomalies going warmer than average. That's what's starting to happen. We're losing the cold nights now, and the temperature anomaly, therefore, is just going slightly milder than average from the 14th to 22nd of April. Expect these to get warmer over the next few days when we look at them in the update videos. Precipitation anomalies also looking very dry. Ireland is wet. Ireland's going to have a wet 24 to 36 hours. But the UK, away from Northern Ireland anyway, looking very dry indeed from the 14th to the 22nd of April. And given that GFS ensemble chart we're just looking at, certainly for the southeast, there's no reason to assume we're going to be seeing any changes with these precipitation anomaly charts over the next few days when we update the videos. Most of Northern Europe also looking much drier than average too. Over in America, it's rather a cold scene down in the south and southeast of the states. Cold and average there. Eastern coast areas, eastern seaboard areas up towards the northeastern states, warmer than average there. I mean, going out into the Midwest and beyond that into the Pacific West, it varies from state to state. From state to state, it does look quite warm for California. It looks a bit colder though, going further northwards up towards the northwestern part of the United States. Very variable with precipitation too. It actually looks rather wet though across large parts of the state. So we've got these drier areas down here where the precipitation only is drier than average, but actually many parts of America, many of the states look like they're coming up with above average precipitation in the week ahead. Right, so this is how the GFS is looking for Wednesday. Still got the Scandinavian high on Wednesday, but we've lost the easterly wind. The winds are backing more into a southeasterly direction. There's going to be a weather front Tuesday, Wednesday that probably produces a lot of cloud. But any rain on that is going to die out very quickly through the middle part of the week as pressure just rises and squeezes the life out of it, really. So as we go into Thursday and then on to Good Friday, look at that big ridge of high pressure extending in. Still the high pressure is kind of centred over southern Scandinavia anyway, but it is slipping southwards. So this isn't a cold east wind, it's relatively warm east to southeasterly flow that we're drawing in there. As we go through into Easter. And this is looking like a classic Easter, I have to say. High pressure dominating most of the Easter period, bringing lots of dry and warm weather too. I think we could be seeing temperatures as high as 21 degrees this Easter. That's 70 Fahrenheit, not too bad at all. And there should be a lot of sunshine around as well. Bit of a question mark about Easter Monday at the moment, but pressure does look to be weakening a little bit close to the country, and that might just allow some showers to start breaking out on Easter Monday. And given the atmosphere will be quite warm, there is the potential perhaps for a few thundery showers by the time you get through to Easter Monday. However, it's not a real breakdown. And as we go into a more extended range, heading up towards day 10 and beyond it, that's when we start to see more unsettled conditions starting to come in. So, for example, we've gone beyond day 10 now, we're up to the 26th of April. Got quite a deep area of low pressure to the west of Ireland. That's bringing genuinely wet and windy weather into the western part of the country anyway. Eastern areas could still be mainly dry. Although, by the end of the GFS midnight run, we're actually going back towards high pressure again. So this is as far as we go. It takes us to the last day of April. Look at that, high pressure is back into the north of Scotland, returning us to an easterly flow and mainly dry conditions as well. So there is an attempt to break down the high pressure and turn us unsettled through the last week of April. How successful that attempt is, though, very uncertain. It's not long at all before we're back to high pressure again. Parallel GFS, again, that's how things are looking on Wednesday. So the high pressure is still there over Scandinavia, but we've lost it easterly. Return the winds to the south-southeast. We go through to Thursday and then on to Good Friday. High pressure is dominating the weather. Stays in control through Easter Saturday and into Easter Sunday as well. These are excellent charts if you want dry, warm, fine Easter weather. This could be an Easter to favour, although again by Easter Monday, just that question mark as pressure weakens a little bit. Will it weaken enough to start generating showers, particularly in light of the warm temperatures that we're going to have? It's possible we'll see some heavy showers breaking out on Easter Monday, but up until then, Good Friday, Easter Saturday, Easter Sunday, all looking really, really good. Then we head off into the final week of April, the parallel GFS run. Wants to turn it more unsettled, so turning wet and windy there in the north and west anyway, as we get through to Thursday the 25th of April. Although, again, same as with the operational GFS run, it's not long at all before we're trying to get high pressure going. And look at that, we get to the end of the parallel GFS, 30th of April, the high pressure is back in once again. So that attempt to turn things unsettled through the last week of April, very short-lived, doesn't amount to much, very half-hearted, and we're back to high pressure again by month's end. This is how the ECMWF is looking. So again, we've got the southerly, southeasterly winds on Wednesday, and then we go through into Thursday and Good Friday. The high pressure strengthening across the country, bringing loads of dry and warm weather. That high pressure still with us into Easter Saturday and Easter Sunday. So superb looking charts there if you want dry, warm and fine conditions. There's the wobble though for Bank Holiday Monday, Easter Monday. Just a chance perhaps of generating more in way of showers as pressure begins to weaken. There might even be a weather front in the northwest that will bring some more general rain to parts of Northern Ireland and Western Scotland, but I think if the atmosphere does wobble on Easter Monday, it will be mainly showers that are breaking out. Beyond that, a little bit more of an unsettled feel as we go up towards day 10, which is Wednesday, 24th of April. It does look as though it's turning a bit more unsettled there. Maybe some showery outbreaks of rain starting to develop. Most likely in the northwest, probably not all that much in the south or southeast. Just see whether the postage stamps have updated at the Icelandic Met Office yet. Yes, they have. So just have a quick look at those. So these are the scenarios that we've got on the table from the ECM ensembles via the Icelandic Met Office at day 10, which is the 24th of April. We've got 20 members of the ECM ensembles that have the ridge up to the northeast, but they are generating low pressure close to the country. Close the operational run as well, the run we're just looking at, generating low pressure close to the country. So obviously more unsettled flavour, relatively mild, no problems with temperatures. The winds are from a southerly direction, but just wobbling in the atmosphere a bit, producing showery bursts of rain. But then there's another 20 that look actually really very unsettled by day 10. Look at these ones. Deep trough of below average heights over to the west of the country, bringing a strong west-southwesterly flow. It includes the ECM control run as well. So those ones are a good deal more unsettled. And then there's 11 that have high pressure up to our north, low pressure should say up to the north. High pressure is out to the west-southwest. So they're bringing in a gently unsettled type pattern from off the Atlantic. It does look as though by day 10 things are a little bit more unsettled. However, similar to what the GFS extended range charts are showing, any turn towards unsettled conditions that occurs around day 10 is half-hearted and really doesn't last very long at all, because by the time you get through to 2 weeks away, 29th of April at 360 hours, look at this. Most of the scenarios are taking us back to high pressure. 24 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure over and to the east of the UK. Low pressure's pinged out towards Greenland and Iceland. Jet streams off up there, so they're mainly dry, settled and fine by month's end. We go through to B17. They're trying to build high pressure to the south. These are a little bit more unsettled perhaps, but certainly they're trying to get some high pressure going. And then there's 10 that again has a high pressure over and to the southwest of the country. That's the Azores high, of course, pushing the jet stream northwards. So within the model output, there is an attempt to turn things unsettled around day 10, 24th, around 24th, 25th of April, but it looks pretty half-hearted. Looks like it's not long at all before we get ourselves back to high pressure again. CFS V2, 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods, looking like this. The 14th to 20th of April has above average heights up to our east and northeast. In the week ahead, below average heights out in the Atlantic. Mainly dry therefore and warm, bring the winds up from a southerly or southeasterly direction. Week 2 also looks mainly dry and fine with high pressure over and to the east of the country. Again, winds look like they're pulling up from a southerly southeasterly direction. That is, of course, going to be the 21st to 27th of April, week 2. Week 3 is the 28th of April to the 4th of May. High pressure range just out to the west of us. That could be a little bit more unsettled there. Very end of the month into the start of May. Just a little bit more influence from the jet stream, perhaps possibly cooler and more showering. But then look at that, we go to week 4, we're back to high pressure again. 5th to the 11th of May, the high is back in over and to the east-northeast of us. Low pressure is well out in the middle of the Atlantic, pulling up winds from a southerly southeasterly direction, mainly dry and warm therefore from the 5th through to the 11th of May. Finally, this how CFS V2 is looking for May. This is a 700 millibar height anomaly for May. It's showing a big ridge of above average heights over the country, below average heights up to the north of jet stream. That is a mainly dry, fine and warm May, ending, of course, a mainly dry, fine and warm spring after the unsettled first half to March that we have. Temperature anomalies for May being forecast to be milder than average, and it's a weak signal, but probably hinting at being a little bit drier than average during May. As well, hardly a surprise with a big ridge of high pressure centred over the top of the country. Finally, just to say, but if you're enjoying the videos at the moment, please can you consider becoming a patron for GWV. We've got 61 patrons so far. Hello and a big thank you to all of our patrons. So if you'd like to become a patron for GWV, you can just come to the GWV's Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account. And you can pledge an ongoing monthly donation to GWV from $1 a month upwards. And by doing that, you're going to become a patron for GWV. You're going to help to pay for our website, keep content online. You're going to shout out in videos. We'll say thank you very much for becoming our latest patron. Alternatively, you can give a one-off donation through PayPal. This is GWV's PayPal page. So you just come to this page, sign into your PayPal account, and then you can send a one-off donation through to GWV. And again, you'll be helping us to pay for our website, keep content online. So a big thank you to all of the patrons, big thank you to all op donors for GWV. You get a shout out in videos, whether you do it through Patreon or PayPal. As long as you want one, if you'd rather stay anonymous, leave a little note with your donation when you sign up to Patreon. Leave a little note, tell us you'd rather not have mention, but otherwise you will get a shout out in videos and we'll say thank you very much to you. We can also give a mention to your website or business. We can go to a website if you would like us to. So it's however you want mention in the videos. And of course, don't forget to enter the competition. The competition has launched, talked about it at the start of the video, teaming up with metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation to give away the temperature and humidity sensor. It's worth £50. Somebody will be winning that a week today on Easter Sunday. You've got to be in it to win it. So good luck to everybody who enters the competition. And yeah, we'll be giving that away in a week's time. Right, that's it for your videos for today. Hope you found the Sunday Roundup interesting and informative. We'll be putting the summer analogues update onto the summer updates and forecast page with a written summary this evening, just going over everything that we discussed in the video. So that'll be up for you later on this evening. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.